Hello, everyone. Great, thanks for joining us for another mini live. Today, you probably will have seen from our topics that we are talking about magnesium, the essential mineral that you can't live without. So I'm sure everyone has heard roughly what the benefits or the kind of actions of magnesium are, why it's so essential for us. But basically, it is a mineral. And it is really prevalent throughout our body, and it is essential. We use it for so many different things. Over 300 enzymatic reactions rely on magnesium. About 60% of the magnesium in our body occurs in the bone, and the rest is in muscles, soft tissues, and fluids, including the blood. As I said, magnesium does have a lot of different functions throughout the body. So when I said that it is involved in over 300 enzymatic reaction, that's just reactions. That is kind of a really good indication of just how necessary it is within the body and just how many things it is involved with, or magnesium is actually essential for occurring. So one really big one is energy creation. We need magnesium to be able to convert the food that we eat into energy, also to be able to produce ATP energy. If anyone is into nutritional bioscience or is interested in learning a little bit more, if you do a bit of a Google search or find some textbooks or something like that, you will be able to see some of these pathways to produce ATP energy as well as other hormones. And you'll see within there that magnesium is an essential mineral for a lot of those pathways to occur. So another really good example of what magnesium is essential for is sleep. So some will have been potentially recommended a magnesium supplement if you have gone to your naturopath or to your local health food store or even to a chemist and told them that you're looking for some sleep support. Magnesium is often recommended, and that's because magnesium is actually needed for the conversion of serotonin. So our happiness hormone does a lot of other functions, but we'll generally call it our happiness hormone, into melatonin, our sleep hormone. So for that conversion to actually occur, magnesium must be present. If magnesium wasn't there, we could not convert serotonin into melatonin. Therefore, we'd really struggle to sleep. So that's just one really good example of how magnesium is involved in an enzymatic reaction and what the cause of one particular reaction is. In this case, it's being able to sleep efficiently. Other functions of magnesium are protein formation. So it's responsible for creating new amino acids and therefore proteins as well. Gene maintenance. So magnesium is really essential for the repair of DNA and RNA. Muscle movement. So this is another one that a lot of people probably know magnesium to be beneficial for. So if anyone ever gets muscle cramps or tight or achy muscles, magnesium is also often recommended. And that's because magnesium actually works almost opposite calcium. They kind of compete for binding. And when magnesium is present, it allows, let's pretend these are our muscle fibers, it allows the muscle fibers to relax and open. That's why we can experience an easing of cramping or any sort of muscle tension or tightness. Whereas if there was no magnesium and it was all calcium that was present in those channels, the muscles would stay kind of close. So we know that our muscle fibers naturally move a lot like this, and we need magnesium for them to be able to release. So when they're released, we experience less tension, less cramping, and a better ability to heal and grow as well. Nervous system maintenance. So magnesium is really essential for neurotransmitters. One really big one that I mentioned just before is melatonin. It's also really responsible for a lot of the health of the myelin sheath and other structural components within our nervous system. Okay, so that's a general overview of why magnesium is so important. And another reason, I guess, that we can start to understand why a magnesium insufficiency or deficiency can present in so many different ways, and it would be really hard to pinpoint. You may be experiencing any one of these symptoms. You may be experiencing low energy, low moods, challenges with sleep, muscle cramps, and you might not necessarily know, apart from the muscle cramps, I think that one usually people go straight to magnesium. You might not necessarily know that it's because of a lack of magnesium. And a lack of magnesium can be because of a number of different causes. It could be because you're not eating enough magnesium in your diet, which is actually very easy to do. It's easy to not eat enough magnesium, largely because of the quality of the soil. It is a nutrient that gets depleted very, very easily, particularly since, I guess, farming practices have changed and we're using more pesticides, which reduces the ability of the plants that we eat to absorb the minerals from the ground, and then we don't get to absorb those minerals from the plants. So it's actually very, very common to not consume enough magnesium through our diets. Could also be because you're not absorbing magnesium efficiently. So that could be because of some sort of a gut, I guess, suboptimal environment, if the cell integrity isn't there, or if there's spaces between the tight junctions that is compromising your ability to absorb nutrients, which then means that you wouldn't have sufficient magnesium. Other reasons that you may not be getting enough magnesium is because you could be excreting too much. So say you exercise a lot, your body uses a lot more magnesium, so you're going to need higher levels of magnesium. Another really good example is we actually do excrete more magnesium through our urine when we're stressed. So anyone who experiences, I guess, chronic stress or higher prevalence of stress is really likely to be excreting a lot more of their magnesium, which is not ideal because we really do need magnesium during stressful times so that we can sleep and function optimally to in turn be able to support that stress response. Okay, I just wanted to cover quickly a couple of common signs and symptoms of magnesium deficiency or insufficiency. So the data actually says that at least up to 30% of Americans, this is where we're getting the data from, are magnesium insufficient, potentially a lot more. There's different sources that say different things, but as you can see, it's very, very common for people to have insufficient levels of magnesium. And so it's really important to be able to identify if that is you. So some common symptoms include twitching eyes. This has a lot to do with those muscle contractions. It's almost like a cramping of your eye, and you'll see it. I remember I used to get this as a kid all the time. And I will occasionally get it now if I haven't been taking my magnesium supplements, because I do exercise a lot. I know that my body uses a lot of magnesium. Muscle cramps is another really big one for magnesium. Headaches and migraines, another massive one. Another one that I personally have experienced. After every football game, went through a phase where I had a migraine so bad I'd have to go to bed until the next day. And it wasn't until I started taking magnesium regularly and in reasonably high doses that I stopped getting them after football games. So it was definitely a lack of magnesium for me. Low energy is another potential sign or symptom of a magnesium insufficiency. A shaky tongue. This one is very naturopathic, but as naturopaths, we do analyze people's tongues, and there's a lot you can see. But one is if you poke your tongue out and you see that it's literally quivering like that, that's a really common sign of insufficient magnesium. Certain mental health conditions, osteoporosis, and high blood pressure are all also potential symptoms of a magnesium insufficiency. So when it comes to correcting this insufficiency, we definitely should look to the diet. There are a lot of really high magnesium foods. One that I really that I love is chocolate, not milk chocolate, cacao, really high quality, ideally raw or low processed pure cacao. It's a very, very nutrient dense product. It is, I call it a medicinal product, cacao. It's not a sweet or a treat. If anybody else out there likes to eat 90, 95, 99% chocolate bars like cacao, you only need a square a day. It is one of the high sources of magnesium. There are lots of other plant sources that you can get. It's really worth Google, I would say, just to be able to get, because you're not just going to get enough magnesium from eating one thing. It's not like you can just make sure you eat 1 head of broccoli a day, and that's going to be all the magnesium you need. It's really important to be aware of all the different potential forms or sources of magnesium within a diet to make sure that you're hitting a few of them across the day to be getting that overall intake that we really, really require. And then types of magnesium. So that was magnesium from our diet, but also we should, or at least be considering, taking a magnesium supplement. As I said, I do a lot of sport. I do take a magnesium supplement every single day. When I don't, I feel the difference. I feel foggy, my muscles feel achy, I start to get cramps, my eyes twitch. I don't feel good. So it is one of those supplements, and I do generally believe that we don't need to supplement long term. We should be able to get everything we need from a healthy diet and lifestyle. Unfortunately, or not necessarily unfortunately, but if you have other circumstances in your life that increase your need, so high intensity exercise, high levels of stress, a lot of travel, those kinds of things are factors that may require ongoing supplementation to be able to meet your general needs. Otherwise, we should really be able to get everything we need from the diet. But if you are someone who also potentially needs to be taking magnesium supplement, there are a few different forms. So magnesium citrate is really highly absorbable form. That's the form that we use in our formulations that have magnesium. You've also got chelate, glycinate, potentially diglycinate. Another form to be mostly aware of is magnesium oxide. This one is really tricky because the oxide takes up such a small amount of the magnesium that you can technically put a lot of magnesium into a supplement and call it high strength, but the body doesn't actually absorb it as a magnesium. Magnesium oxide is actually used in hospitals kind of as a colon cleanse before a lot of procedures. It will probably just make you go to the bathroom. You're not going to get much magnesium out of it. So be really aware of that form. And any product that you see that says high strength magnesium almost certainly will have majority oxide and not much of any other magnesium. So be really careful. Make sure you analyze the backs of your magnesium products before you purchase. And yeah, do look for one that doesn't have oxide, because otherwise you're probably not getting much magnesium at all. And then within our Espeon products, so we do have a couple of products that do have magnesium in it. So the first one is our New Nourish. Oh, I thought I might have had it behind me, but I don't. That one is included within our active detoxes, and it has been specifically designed to help muscle recovery after exercise and help athletic performance. It's also magnesium is also included in our Meno Goodness and Formula Z powders, which are right behind me here. And then you'll also be able to find it within a few of our programs that include those formulations. So that is everything you need to know about magnesium. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to comment them as usual. If you have any topics that you'd like for me to cover, please comment that as well, and I'll be sure to do so. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining, and we will see you on Thursday. Okay, bye-bye.